I'm a broke ceramic artist. Hello, I'm Jess Michiko, and I am the artist behind Pepino Matcha. I stumbled upon ceramics when I was unemployed,
hungry, sad.
And I actually decided to research some classes, affordable classes within my area for art, because I wanted to get more involved in art stuff. So I found a local community center that actually offered ceramic classes. And at the time, I think it was like around 52. First of all, in the beginning, I did not like ceramics. I took the class, we made a few pieces, like we made a box, we made a pebble pot, and we also made, I think, a pinch pot, like where you pinch it. We also made a mug. So we made 4 items, and that was the class. She didn't teach us how to make it really. She just showed us. So each time that we ventured into making a new item, she would sit in front of the class and she would basically talk us through how to make it.
And 1, 2, 3, a circle thingy.
And that was how I learned ceramics. And I just didn't like it. I had a lot of issues with struggling to make the image that was in my mind come to fruition with my lack of skills. So it was a struggle to get to a point where I actually felt good about it. At this time, I was doing a lot of therapy sessions and decided that I needed to take time and enjoy the process. I didn't like the process. Things were like I kept going and I kept trying and I kept going and I kept trying to make these things, and I had some anxiety, I had stress all while making this object, and it was just a lot. Just so many things happened emotionally while I was doing this. But the thing in the end, I kept feeling very good that I had made something, the end product.
I call it bold and brash.
And if you're familiar with ceramics, the first stage is you're building this piece from like semi-wet clay, like it has moisture, it's moldable. You're making this thing. The next is it gets fired and it gets bisqued. So you see your piece in like what you sculpted, you see that. And then the next thing is that you actually glaze it. And so you have the time to like put in color and think about like what colors you're going to want to mix together, or like what designs, which is what I do. I do more design focused in that area on the piece. And then finally that gets fired again. There's all sorts of other steps after that if you go into deeper things to add to your piece, but essentially there's 2 fires. So in each stage I kept seeing the result of like, wow, I made this. Okay. And that felt good. That's what felt good. And I kept striving for that feeling. Actually had so many opportunities to like quit and just be done with it, but I didn't. And in order to like keep myself accountable, I actually decided to bring a friend along with me, where I get to catch up with my friend and also hold myself accountable for going to this class and making sure I fulfill it to the very end. It was 2 months community class where I had the time to make all this stuff. And that flew by so quickly. Like, it's just once a week. So I decided to sign up again. And then I kept signing up and signing up and signing up. And that's how I'm here. First of all, I had a lot of pieces that was just like overflowing on my shelf. And I was like, okay, I need to do something with all this stuff, because when I don't have room, I can't just keep making things. So I decided to set up my first market. And at my market, I sold basically to my friends and family only. Shout out to them for supporting me. And then I did a second market where I sold to like strangers for the first time. So that was fun. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I want to be an artist. This is something I'm going to do. I'm going to be a ceramic artist, and that's what's going to happen. Now, at this point, I never thought that I could be an artist. I've always was like very wishy-washy with artistic hobbies. I would do something and I'd be like, okay, that was fun. And then I go on to the next thing. So it was always like jumping to a new thing. And this is like the first time where I feel like I've stuck with something, and it's changed the way I view things for sure. But it definitely has me in a chokehold. Should I say that? Okay. um. Okay. So I called my mom and I told her, Mom, I think I'm going to be an artist. And her response was, but you already are an artist. I always hear those sayings like when people want to become an artist, their parents are like, no, don't do that.
No, God, please, no, no!
Because it's not feasible, it's not going to give you so much money. You know, they want financial security and security for you and your future. And so when you decide to be an artist, there's a lot of factors that come into play where, you know, one, it's difficult. It's not financially stable. You really have to wait until you blow up. And then when you blow up, it's like, even so.
All right, give me a luxury. What luxury should I have?
Private plane.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
Regardless, I still wanted to do it. And it was still very shocking that my mom was very, like, okay with me. And there's just a lot of factors too. Once I decided to switch my mindset that I was going to be an artist, there were a lot of things that just happened. Mind you, I am making nothing right now on my ceramics. I've only done 2 markets. That was like last year. So this year is 0 income.
Spare change. Spare change, ma'am.
Mostly I'm in the negative.
And there's no money in here!
Literally, I go to a community studio that is less than $100 for 2 months, so that's $50 per month. I have this vicinity in my apartment. I have a courtyard, and I was doing in my courtyard, but my landlord is insane, and I don't want to get evicted. There is a certain demographic within ceramic artists, and that demographic is that they can afford this hobby, and they can afford these expensive studios and these places. And I'm not to say that they probably are struggling financially, for sure. I've seen some people talk about how expensive it is, and I've seen them struggle with it. But regardless to say, there is definitely, they still fit that demographic that they can do it. They may be struggling, but they're still able to pay for it. Whereas the demographic that I'm talking about is that they can't. There is no way that they can think that they can get that, because they just can't. It's just off limits to them. There is no way that they can fathom an idea of obtaining a studio where you pay like $200 a month or more.
I've only got 7.
Ceramics is not accessible to people, like to everyone. It's just not. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. If you're new and you join the ceramic community and you match that demographic, you match the look of that specific demographic, you're immediately seen as a success. Because I think it's the audience, and I think it's the fact that this realm is so oversaturated with that specific look, that specific type of person that fits that mold, that image that the audience already sees. Then the audience is like, of course they're good, of course they're skilled, of course I'll pay $500 for their piece. Not because they actually know the craft or because they actually have the skills, but because the audience thinks that, because they see that it matches the same as these other people who've been doing it for 30 years or 40 years, because those people could afford it. And so those people, the people that are entering in now, can also afford it. But what about these people that can't afford it? What about these people that look different from that demographic, that are just like doing it out of their garage or buying the $100 Amazon wheel and making that work? Where are those people at? That's what I want to know. You don't have enough money to spend on ceramics, then please comment down below, because I would love to get to know you and get to talk and chat with you about our struggles together. I mean, even if you're an artist in general and you're struggling to make ends meet with doing artistic things, comment down below too, because as artists, it's difficult out there, and it's extremely difficult for people who just can't afford things. And within this economy, it's a baffle of how anyone can afford anything. Art should be accessible just as much as it was accessible to you as a baby and you as a kid. And the fact that it's not frustrates me, because it should be. It just should be. So probably my next video, I'm going to talk about ways that ceramics can be affordable. There's not that much. If you're willing to go over those hurdles, then kudos to you. That means you really want to do this, and that's great. And that's the people that I'm trying to get at, is that those people who are willing to go over those hurdles and do this. You know, it's that broke mentality. And sometimes that broke mentality gets you much farther than people who actually have the money. Remember that. And anyways, follow me if you want to follow my own journey. I've only been doing this for 2 years, so what do I know? But we can learn along the way together. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Please give me some reaction so I know that my talking is a conversation, and instead of just like talking to nothing.